Hi, my name is Yasser Javed, and I'm from Massey University, New Zealand. I'm a PhD student, and I'm also working on situational awareness and in organizations. So my question is that what methods uses for information exchange, like as a criteria? For example, which organization needs what?
You mean for resources? So
I mean, just for simple information exchange.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what we're strictly providing now is alerts and information relevant to an incident, right? One of the next steps that we'll be wanting to take, and probably the number one gap in Canada that gets reminded to me every time I talk to emergency managers, is the ability to share information on resource status. So when there's a flood, for example, and an agency is looking to reach out for assistance, for sandbagging equipment, what we're trying to find is a message standard that will support that role of reaching out to get additional resources. Right now, it's strictly what is happening, using the CAP alert, any relevant SITREP information, which can be attachments, and details, if there's a watering station or field hospital, those sort of locations on the map are the sorts of things that we typically provide.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
One in the back, right?
Yeah. Okay. Just a quick question. Do you have any difficulty to cooperate with stakeholders? I know sometimes it's very difficult to cooperate with them, and it needs time to get data from them.
To get information?
Yeah.
Well, the breakthrough for us has been, the assumption has always been that, you're going to give my information to the public, and we're not doing that. What we have is a very, very well-defined charter that a user member comes on board to our system and realizes that if you're going to share information in the bucket, you're sharing it with public safety officials of Canada. Now, if you're in New Brunswick, that means someone in British Columbia could also look at your information, but the content is not sensitive. And as I said, our experience has been that probably 85% of the information, particularly during a major incident, is absolutely open. It's challenging, though, to make that next step and make it publicly available, and that's where all the legal, liability, et cetera, gets in the way.
This is the far road.
Is it on? All right, it's on. Andreas Meissner, Fraunhofer, Germany. Very good presentation and impressive progress that you've made over a short period of time. You focused on the technical aspects of the problem. However, I would imagine that there's also kind of an issue with the mental readiness of all players, to share information, to adapt to a common scheme of information sharing, and maybe to overcome the perception that each individual province's process is optimal and better than anything else in the world. So what did you do in order, first of all, is that a perception that you would accomplish and that you would confirm, and what did you do to overcome this, and what kind of measures did you take in order to get everybody into the common thinking of this needs to be done and this needs to be supported by everybody?
That's an excellent question, and I think it's the $64 million question, because we've just enabled the technology. We haven't enabled the operational procedures. We're being very careful. Being feds, we have to be careful we don't dictate down to the provinces and the municipalities and first responders. There's a very strong sensitivity to not having the federal government get into your backyard and try to tell you how to do your business. So our process has been to make the tool available with the developmental, the training hubs and the exercise hubs. Some major exercises, we ran an operation in the north, Nanook, which simulated an air crash and had dozens of agencies. And what we tell the operators, you need to tell us how you want to use this. All we're doing is providing the bucket. Every agency will be different. The province of Quebec, for example, it was interesting, I was over there. There's always this barrier between the province and the municipality, and just like there is between the feds and the province, and it's a natural thing. As you go up the chain, there's always this I don't know what you call it, this barrier. MACES provides this community information sharing environment. So what we're finding is that the province and its municipalities who don't talk enough together suddenly have a reason to talk, because all of a sudden their information is now going into a common space. So what we're finding is a lot of exercises and pilots to understand how to use MACES are occurring across the country. It really has only been about a year. Some provinces, New Brunswick, are absolutely fully sold on it. In fact, I didn't get to this last slide, but if you read this is a snippet from an actual email message from the province of New Brunswick, where the EMO is remarking that he was sitting on his couch, and this was during an exercise where the reactor had an incident, and they were simulating the evacuation planning. Sitting on his couch, he was able to enter the evacuation plan, link it to an alert, put it on the map using his playbook. This took all 5 minutes from start to finish at home on my playbook. And as Ernie says in the key sentence I want to put in the yellow box at the bottom, we will continue to build a user community and culture around this capability. So that culture and that user community is going to be a little bit different from different pockets of Canada, and we're encouraging them to do that on their own. So the answer is it's going to vary from region to region. One of the most receptive areas in Canada are the north. We've got 70,000 people, over two-thirds of the entire country, very dispersed, very small communities. All of a sudden they have a very low bandwidth tool here. They can start to put the dot on the map and say, we're having an issue, we're having a flood, we have a search and rescue operation. So they're very much pulling this in as a new capability. But the answer is going to be, I think, in many papers to come in the next few years as we see this unfold.
So we are officially out of time. What I will do is to take one last question. There's a long trek upstairs. Just logistically, there's limited elevators, so if you are hale and hearty, please take the stairs, leaving elevator space for those who are less so. Can I steal your VGA feed for one last?
Yep.
Okay, so I think the gentleman in the second row, what's the next?
Martin Gris, Carnegie Mellon. You mentioned filtering on location and task. Have you considered doing either subscription or security layered in some way that if you're in a particular region, you can only see certain things?
That's an excellent question. What we are being asked to do is what we're calling special access hubs, where what we consider is the analogy of an ops center where the commander will have a breakout room off to the side, and he wants to select certain people that are allowed into that hub. So, for example, when a nuclear leak, a radiation leak happens at a reactor, the protocol in Canada is that the Health Protection Agency will want to have 2 or 3 hours to look at the situation before they make the call. There's many false alarms and whatnot. So we are creating what we're calling a special access hub. It's not classified secret, but it's very tightly secured in terms of who has access. Once they know what the scenario is, then they open it to the larger community. Very good question. That's it.
Good. Well, we'll do one last final acknowledgement to our speakers. I think Richard had something that he wanted to show. Is it not going to happen? It's not going to happen. So again, we'll thank Jack for his talk. And he should be around, so I think there'll be opportunities for other people to ask questions.
Thanks very much.